Friday is opening day on hallowed ground, and the DRFBets race of the day is the Grade 3 Lake George, race number 9 at Saratoga. Dan Illman along with Matt Bernier, and the best place to catch all the action at the spa with your new DRFBets account. Sign up, grab $100 in free cash to use during the meet. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Here in the field for 3-year-old fillies. They're going 1 1/16 on the Mellon Turf Course, a field of 8 with 1 main track only. That's the 4 Nootka Sound. You can download free formulator past performances for the Lake George on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Print them out, mark them up, handicap along with us as we take the field in post-position order. We'll begin with Punked, one of 2 in here for who else? Chad Brown. Matt, I thought Punked ran well last time out in the wild applause considering there was no pace and the winning chalk got Stormy, got the jump on her turning into the lane.
I'd agree with that for the most part. I guess I expected just a little bit more there to make it a little bit closer than that 2-length difference, but you brought up Got Stormy. I think she's a pretty talented one for Cassie. I have to be honest, there's just a part of me that also wonders, though, from a speed figure standpoint, she's going to need to run considerably faster if she's going to be a legitimate threat in a race like this. I would imagine, based on what we've seen from some of the more likely winners in a race like this right now, you're looking at a low 90 kind of buyer, and she hasn't eclipsed an 85 yet, so she's certainly going to need to up her game here.
Number 2 is Going Out, the longest shot on David Aragona's morning line at 30-1, but arguably the best bred horse in the race. She's by Tappet, her Dam Forever Together, won the Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf, and the addition of Lasix and blinkers sparked major improvement for this filly last time out. She came from off a moderate pace to beat older allowance horses at Monmouth. It was slow time, but there were slow fractions. It's hard to get a big fig. It's hard for me to get a read on Going Out. I don't know how good she is just yet. She's relatively unexposed at a big price.
She's only gone out twice on the turf. You brought that up, and she's never been out of the exacta, but I guess I'm just more concerned. You're right. It's difficult to analyze that race as a whole, that non-winners of one other than from Monmouth, but you have seen a couple horses come out of that race, and they haven't earned buyers that are much faster than what they had in that most recent start. The 3rd place finisher is 68. The 4th place finisher was the next out winner with a 73. I'm going to sit back and wait and see. I wonder if Going Out is going to be the kind of filly that needs some time to develop and probably additional distance too.
Morning line favorites, the number 3, Daddy is a Legend for trainer George Weaver, and I think this filly's run well in just about all of her starts. Very visually impressive winning her maiden at Keeneland, very visually impressive winning the Grade 3 Jimmy Durante at Del Mar, and I guess you could argue that she's had excuses in her 3 losses this year. In the Appalachian, she broke 3 lengths slow. She was 5 wide turning into the stretch. She made a run at the big favorite Rushing Fall, and she fell a little bit short. In the Edgewood, she made a big early move into the teeth of the pace to engage Rushing Fall, and understandably tired late. And last time out in the Wonder Again, she chased the 2 horses that were on the lead, and that pace just held up completely. The problem with Daddy is a Legend is this. I think she's probably at her best coming from way off the pace, and the key to this Lake George is there is no speed whatsoever. Would you try to send this filly?
I think she's got to be a little bit more forwardly placed. I think you've got to ride her like you did in the Edgewood. Now, like you say, perhaps she is better off coming from much farther out of it, but I think, you know what, your hand might be forced in an instance like this, where if you do that, I don't think there's going to be much pace signed on in here, and that would compromise her chances. I think she's honest. She just shows up and runs her race each and every time. You brought up that Wonder Again. I think it's a pretty decent race. You see what those horses have done when they came back, and a few of them ran back in the Belmont Oaks most recently. I think she's nice. I think she's the most likely winner of the race. I think it comes down to price, though. She's just one of those horses that anything in that 7 to 5, 8 to 5 range, I don't think she has any tremendous edge on any of the other girls.
I think that's a very fair point, especially considering that at times, and she was better last time, at times she's not good coming out of the gate. And if she doesn't break in a paceless race, she could be in trouble. Nootka Sounds entered main track only. We don't want to see her on Friday. We want a beautiful day for the opener at Saratoga. Let's take a look at the Timeform pace projector. And as expected, that blue bar indicates that our friends at Timeform US and you and I, we think that this race will favor horses on or near the early lead. It's possible that the 5 Good Things Take Time will take up the running, although it's interesting to see. It's got to be a slow pace. In her 4 North American starts, after the first call, she's never been closer than 5th.
Yeah, I was going to say, if she's on the lead, then this is going to be a very pedestrian pace, putting that kindly. There's a scenario where Good Things Take Time. I've been a big fan of hers ever since she's gotten here. I think she runs pretty good races, but the problem is it feels like, for one reason or another, she can't get over the hump. And I understand maybe if you want to say that most recent start in the Penn Oaks, maybe she moved a little bit too early going into the far turn. but I kind of still thought she shouldn't have faded as badly as she did. Considering I know that Got Stormy came back to win, and the way I am came back to run second in the Belmont Oaks, but I just didn't expect her to fade as badly as she did, especially at that mile distance. I don't think additional ground is her friend, because I kind of felt like that Florida Oaks, I thought the distance is really what got her beaten there, not the fact that somebody else came and got her. To me, she's best at a mile. Going out to a mile and a 16th here, I like her, but I don't know that I love her.
It's a fair point, but it'll be interesting to see if she drifts a little bit. She's going out for a low-profile yet very capable trainer in Jorge Abreu. The 6 is Andina Del Sur, another one that might have been compromised by that slow pace in the Wonder Again. Again, La Senora, significant form. They ran 1-2 around the track, and Andina Del Sur is basically a one-run closer. She was up against it in the Wonder Again. She might be up against it once again on Friday.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a scenario, though, where you can go back to that sweetest chance. She has at least shown in the past that she can be reasonably close to slow fractions. I know she didn't finish all that well that day, but still, she was stakes placed in there. There's a part of me that wonders if she also is going to be a little bit more forwardly placed, second off the bench. It's nice to see you get Leparoux back aboard as well.
Alt, compromised perhaps by the lack of pace in the Wonder Again. Heck, she tried to come from even further behind than Andina Del Sur, and she was rolling a bit late down towards the inside. All in all, I thought that was a really interesting performance for a filly who I think will appreciate cutting back slightly from a mile and an eighth to a mile and a 16th. And Chad Brown's no dummy. He wants to get some speed into Alt. Here come the blinkers.
Yeah, you know what? I have to be honest. I think anybody coming out of that Wonder Again, I was most interested in her because I thought she was the most compromised by the pace situation, and she had to wait a little bit down on the inside. Maybe she's been a little bit disappointing in those first 2 starts here in North America, but the blinkers going on. Chad's record has been off the charts with moves like this recently in graded stakes races. I think there's a scenario where she's a little bit closer to the pace. You get a Rad Ortiz aboard. To me, of the 2 Chads, I would much rather have her.
Completing the field is the number 8, Heavenly Love, for trainer Mark Cassie and John Velasquez, 6-1 on the morning line. Heavenly Love is a Grade 1 winner on dirt, but she's got that turf pedigree, and I think she's found a home on the grass. Last time out in the Grade 3 Regret Stakes at Churchill Downs, she didn't break very well, and she was farther behind than Cassie and company expected. That being said, that was a pretty honest pace to set things up for Heavenly Love, and she came with a solid run. Her buyers are going the right way, and the Timeform US Pace Projector indicates that if she breaks, she can be close.
Yeah, that's really going to be the key here for Johnny V. I think you got to get her a little bit closer because, like you say, maybe she wasn't that alert out of the gate, but she had a pretty good setup otherwise in the Regret most recently. I thought that trip actually worked out very well for her as well. There's a big concern for me about that overall quality, though, of the Regret, because we saw Go Noni Go, the runner-up. She came back and earned an 80 buyer, and I just felt like that field as a whole, as competitive as it was, I don't think you had any real standouts. I think she's facing much tougher this time around.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the opening day co-feature at Saratoga, the Grade 3 Lake George Stakes. You're going with Chad, the number 7 Alt, blinkers on, hoping to be a little bit closer to the pace. While this filly has only won once in her career, I think she showed a lot of quality overseas group place, and I really think there's something here for her.
I understand some people look at statistics and things like that and say you can just make your own case or whatever else you want to be. You can twist them to fit your argument. I'm going to look at a number like past 5 years, turf first-time blinkers and graded stakes races for Chad, 4 for 7 with a $13 ROI, and then 2 times with a Rad aboard. They're 2 for 2 with a $34 ROI. I just feel like there's a scenario where she might be the girl now. You put the blinkers on, she can get a little bit closer into the run. I liked what she did in the Wonder Again. I think she takes a step forward here. To me, though, I hate to say it, I think it's a pretty chalky race.
You're going to give me your top numbers.
I'm going to go 7-3-5-1.
I'm with you. I was torn between the 3 Daddy is a Legend, the 7 Alt, and I do respect Chad adding the blinkers, but I know Daddy is a Legend can be closer to the pace if necessary, if she breaks, which is a major factor. I think, as you said, she's the most likely winner of the race. I wouldn't take anything less than 2-1. I would use a lot of the 7 Alt in multiple race wagers. I'm going 3-7-6-5 in the Grade 3 Lake George. It's race number 9 at the Spa on opening day Friday. You can play that opening day card with a new DRFBets account, and the $100 in free cash goes along with it. Head on over to drf.com/bet and open up your new account at DRFBets. Approximate post time for the Lake George, 5:40 Eastern. Best of luck.